Now we've seen identifiers and variables. So for example, I can say declare x is equal to 11 times 11, browse x, and if I do a feed paragraph, I will see 121. But now let's see what the functional paradigm does to this. I have here bound the variable little x to 121. What happens if I try to bind x to something else? I want to reassign x. So I do x is equal to 122, for example. Feed line. Oops, it doesn't work. I have an error message, equality constraint failed. The compiler and the runtime system don't like this. So let me browse x again. You notice that the value is still 121. Once I bind a variable, I cannot change it. This is called single assignment, and it's a fundamental property of the functional paradigm. So what we've done is, we have this instruction. We have the identifier x, which is linked through the environment E to the variable little x, and we've bound the big X, so the variable little x, to 121. That's what we've done. That's called assignment. Now, it turns out that we can only bind a variable to one value. If we try to bind it to a second value, it doesn't work. It's called a single assignment variable. So why is this? It's because we're in the functional paradigm. It's a basic property of variables in the functional paradigm. So if we try to do x equal 122, we get an error, as we saw. If we do x equal 121, it works. In fact, there's a subtlety here. It's not that the variable cannot be assigned multiple times. It can, as long as you assign it to the same value. It cannot be assigned to different values. So why do we have this restriction? Why do we restrict variables to be bound to just one value? It seems like a big handicap not being able to assign a variable to another value. Well, we're not doing it because we want to shoot ourselves in the foot. We're doing it because there's advantages to doing that. The advantages are similar to the advantages of following the law. Why is it, for example, a good idea to follow the rules of traffic when you're driving a car? Because, among other advantages, it reduces the chance of having an accident. And it's similar here. If we could assign a variable more than once, we could break a very correct, good program. So there is an advantage to assigning only to one value. But how can we program if we're not allowed to assign variables? It's a kind of ingrained habit to program and assigning variables to multiple values. How can we do it if we are only allowed to assign to one value? Well, actually, it's easy, as we will see.